Music Masterclass. This is Marc Sabatella with Mastering MuseScore here. And I'm, yeah, as always, fighting various different technical things, and I'm thinking that I'm live. So hopefully we will have some chat activity where I can check on in a moment here, and get on with the business of today, which is pretty exciting. It's we're looking at talking about the winners of the contest. So we've put a lot of thought into that, some discussions with Abraham, and I think we're kind of ready to go. So yeah, people, please. I see that there are people who are present. That is showing up, and good chat, yay! So people are seeing and seeing things. So let me just interesting. Okay. So I'm trying a couple different things here because always looking to improve the situation. You may or may not have noticed something a little different today if you tried to click, if you went to the community and then went to the watch, the Music Masterclass watch space, and then clicked to actually start watching. It maybe used to just give you a message saying this stream doesn't exist or something like that, and now it says we'll be starting soon, and then actually tells you that it is. I don't know. I'm looking at my other computer here, but it still doesn't actually start right away. It says join, so oh well. Anyhow, still fiddling. All right, so let's get on with this, right? So what I'm going to do, when I mentioned I was having some problems, I had everything all nice and set up, and then computer crash, which happens, right? So bringing everything back up. So before I share my screen, I just want to get my winner list thing happening, and then we'll start launching into this. So I'm going to share my screen now, and it'll just be a little slideshow. That's the one slide with a silly little animation on it, and that's all. So let's do this thing. All right. So you're looking now at the slide I put together, and so let me tell you a little bit about what I've decided to do here. Calling an audible on this because it's hard to pick winners, right? And it's hard to pick winners, especially if you've got two people picking, me and Abraham, and I really apologize for my timing on this, but it turns out Abraham can't be here today, but we're going to try to bring him on next week and then give him the floor to give some of his insights and so forth. So anyhow, between Abraham and I talking about things, but then also talking about the your votes. And looking at the people's choice part of it, I realized I wanted more winners. So what I've decided to do is basically have two grand prizes. Two people who will share the grand prize, not by splitting it, by two people each getting the 2-year subscription, and two runners up. So two people who will get the 1-year subscription. So there's a total of 4 winners. Originally, it's going to be a first place, a second place, and a people's choice. Now there's just 4 winners, 2 first place, 2 second place, and as we will see, the people's choices match up with the one of the grand prizes and one of the second places. So all that said, y'all ready? I'm going to just announce the winners, and y'all can give them a round of applause, type clap into the chat or whatever. I don't think there's emojis. Can you type emojis into the chat? I don't think so. Are there emoji things in here? If I type clap? No, I don't think it's going to do anything. All right. It just does that. Okay, but that would have been fun. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to first announce a couple of honorable mentions. And these are 2 scores that both Abraham and I agreed were really good, really deserving of mention. And even though they didn't crack the top 4 slots. So 2 honorable mentions, and we'll find something to reward them with. So first one, honorable mention, is Luke. And I am going to apologize in advance for any names that I butcher. Levesque, I don't really know how to pronounce. I assume French. So Luke's piece, we're going to take a look at again. We're going to look at all these pieces after I announce the results. But that piece, Abraham and I agreed was really strong, and we really liked it. So there's that. The next honorable mention is Stephen Pierce. And Stephen Pierce's piece is the one you may recall was originally done in Cakewalk, I think. And so he posted it as an MP3 plus the JPEGs of whatever images, and we eventually kind of got it into MuseScore, kind of sort of, and then Stephen got it into MuseScore much better. And in any case, it's a great piece. Independent of all that technical stuff, it was a great piece, and we really liked it. Okay. So these are honorable mentions, and we're definitely going to look at these all of these pieces today as time allots, and we might continue this process next week. So let me just check in on the chat and make sure that we're all okay. Okay, so the way to get the emojis. Colleen, how did you do it? I would do it by typing an emoji somewhere else and then copy and pasting it. Or maybe if you have a keyboard that knows how to do it, that could be cool too. So those are the honorable mentions. So the next category is our runners up. And again, I've given 2 grand prizes, 2 runners up. So the 2 runners-up are each going to get a 1-year subscription to all my courses and everything. And I'm going to be introducing a lot of new stuff coming up soon. And so this subscription is going to give you access to stuff that doesn't even exist yet, right? So the 2 runners-up, Graham. Oh, I misspelled your name. Dang it. Sorry about that, Graham. I know there's an E in there. I apologize. Graham's piece is one that, again, Abraham and I both agreed extremely, extremely strong. We really liked the piece. It was one of the ones that was kind of a chorale style piece, so a very kind of traditional arrangement of how things were done. But it was just very well executed, right? So some people's pieces were extremely creative in going all sorts of interesting different directions. Some people took a very straightforward approach, but executed extremely well. And we picked some of each, to be honest. Some of these pieces some of the ones we picked are a little outside the box, and some of the ones we picked are inside the box. But man, what a nice box! So Graham, excellent job on that. Humble the music. So yes, your piece was fabulous. I really, really liked that melody. The melody itself sold me. Your playing of it also sold me. But it was like the playing sells me, but then I wanted to look at it. Well, is the melody itself, was it just about the playing, or could we reasonably expect that anyone playing that same melody would do a good job? Is it a strong melody? And yes, it is a really, really strong melody. So excellent job. And in the discussion on your piece, I know there was discussion about like the time signature and how it fits the chords and all these things. So we'll look at that a little bit as we go into these. All right. So, congratulations to both of you. All right. So, on to the grand prize winners. And so again, the People's Choice part of it, I believe I didn't check the results this morning, but the people who were the top 3 as of last night are all people who are on this list. Actually, I think the top 4 are all on this list. Okay, so the grand prize, the ones that Abraham and I picked as our absolute favorites. You ready? So one of them is Bernhard Legde. Bernhard. So another really, really incredibly well executed chorale style arrangement. The melody itself was strong, the harmonization was strong, the voice leading, the voice leading and the voices, the way it was arranged for four voices was just spot on the money. Great job. So, um, we're going to take a look at that, and it's interesting to compare and contrast between Graham and Bernhard's because you both took very similar approaches, and we liked both of them, and those were two approaches that were very much here's the melody arranged in a really, really, really top-notch way. And the other grand prize winner is someone who also had the most votes in the voting last night, who took it in a totally different direction, and that is Trevor. Trevor Saborin, or however we say his name, and I apologize for that, Trevor, and I know you're not here today, and that is a shame, but maybe we can get you next week. So Trevor's piece was just amazingly creative, and yet also completely I mean, it was amazingly creative, amazingly well executed, and it still completely honored the original chord progression, but in amazingly creative ways. So just a fabulous composition based on that chord progression. So those are our winners, and congratulations to all of you. Now, I have to say this was really hard choice, and that's why we have as many winners as we do. Because yeah, it was really hard to narrow some things down. And there's other people that I think are especially worth mentioning. That even though I didn't put you on this list here, are also honorable mentions there. Dean, your piece was unlike anyone else's, right? I mean that just funky pop songy thing you had going just had me smiling the whole way through, right? That was just really amazing. Colleen, your jazz piece, the Wynton Kelly thing with little bits of the chord progression in there combined with all sorts of other stuff, amazingly creative work. So lots of amazingly creative work going on here from a lot of people. And yeah, no one submitted anything that wasn't really good. But we had to pick some people. So we picked some people here, and those were our choices. So I want to we're going to go through and actually play through these pieces. And I'm going to kind of look at the clock here. My goal here is to play through all of the pieces today and talk about them a little bit. You know, I refrained from talking about them last week. I played them last week and really tried not to say much at all about them because I just wanted to keep the voting kind of honest. Oh, and speaking of the voting, let's just take a little quick check, shall we? I can do that. Let me figure out. Let me just remember how I'm going to do this here. It's going to be this little magic thing here will. So I had gone out of my way to disable people's ability to see the results of the voting as you liked. Normally, a post shows how many likes it has, right? I disabled that. So what we're going to do now is look at the list with that custom thing disabled. So now we're going to see the totals. And I think, unless things changed drastically last night, which I'm doubting they did, we will see that it pretty well reflects their other choices. So number one was Trevor. Trevor, you are our people's choice as well. Number two, it was, well, okay, Humble the Music and Luke, you were very close before, but now you're actually tied. So the People's Choice second place also was reflected in our voting, and you can see everyone got some. Everyone definitely got some likes out of this. So I'll go ahead and disable that custom code so that everyone can see all the likes going on. But yeah, it's sort of interesting the way things go. That different people have different things they're looking for, different things that appeal to them, and that's what makes music great, right? If everyone liked exactly the same thing, we'd only need one composer. They'd write one song, and then we'd be done. right? So it's great that there is such a variety of stuff out there and such a variety of things going on. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually start looking at some of these pieces. So what I'm going to do is, because Trevor's piece is the longest and he's not here, I saved it for last time, and I think I'm going to do that this time, and maybe we'll just really get into it a little bit more next week. I don't know. But I do want to just play through everything. So I'm going to go through with the honorable mentions, and those were Luke and Stephen. So let's go ahead. So now the first question here is, I'm going to invite all of you who were winners to potentially join us. And what I would say is, don't accept the invitation. Actually, you can. I don't really care. Um, uh, Anyone who I'm inviting to co-host here, because you were one of the winners, and I think I've got everyone there. Feel free to join at any time. You could wait till I'm talking about your piece. You could say, thanks, I don't really feel like being on camera. You could also just turn off your camera and just be on microphone if you'd rather. But I see people are starting to come up on board, which is great. So, Luke, you're here. I see you here. Do you have a microphone going? You're using OBS Stream. I recognize the icon, OBS virtual camera. I've used that as well. I'm not hearing you yet. Yeah, now I do.
Hear me?
I do hear you now.
Okay. Uh,
Fantastic.
okay.
So first
Well,
of all, would you say your name for us?
uh, my name, my name is Luc Lévesque. I'm a French Canadian.
Levi.
Uh,
All right.
I don't speak very well English, but I understand the
Ah,
English more than I
great.
speak.
Okay. Well, feel free to say a few words before we listen to your piece, if you like, and then we'll just take a listen to it, talk about it for a few moments, and again, congratulations.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for the honorable mention. I'm very proud of that. Uh, the quatuor, the string quartet I composed is the first one. It was a very good challenge for me, and I I think the melody is it's not too expose. That's the problem with my string quartet, I think.
Hmm.
But I have a good harmonic here, and I mainly think of harmony for the composition. But it's the weakness of my quartet is the melody, I think.
All right. So I'm going to put the positive spin on that. I'm going to say that in a piece like this is a more contrapuntal piece than a lot, and it's not all about one melody. It's about the interplay between the voices, and in the same way as, say, a fugue or any other contrapuntal piece. Yeah, it's not about one melody. It's about the way everything fits together, and I think it fits together great.
Hmm. Thank you.
So let's hear. I'm gonna, let's see, full screen on this. When I do that, it does this weird thing that is not what I want it to do. So I guess I just can't use the full screen capability because it does weird stuff. Huh. Come on. How do I get out of here? What have I done? What have I done? One moment. Come on. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment and return here. Boy, it just doesn't want to go back to that window. Sorry about that. We will try plan B here. And B. Another moment. Y'all are still with me, right? Is everyone, y'all want to check in the chat, make sure I didn't mess anything up in doing that, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a musician. All right. Getting back. All right. So the question is, are we all seeing the score still? Y'all still seeing the score? All right, good. Then let me drag this over here so I can continue to see comments while we play. Here we go with the music. No music. Oh gosh, stop. Gosh, there's no sound? What on earth have I done? How could there not be sound? What on earth? All right. All right. So, we're going to try that again and see if it works. I can't think of any reason why that shouldn't have worked, though. So let's try this again. Are you getting sound now? Are you getting music? Let me know if you're hearing the music. No? Still no? Still no music. All right. What the heck? Oh my gosh. I don't understand. Don't understand. Let me try this. Hmm. Because you got the theme music before, right? Or did you not? Because no one told me you weren't getting music then. Any better?
No.
No?
No
Still no?
sound.
Still no, Luke? All right. Look. So why on earth something is extremely goofy? Ah! That might be the thing. All right. Let's try again. One more. Luke, better?
Yes.
Yeah. So bravo. I love so much about this. I'll tell you some of my favorite things about it, and feel free to comment on any of this. But first of all, I'm a sucker for suspensions, and I love the suspensions that you've introduced in a couple of spots here. And actually, technically speaking, the way it's voiced there, it counts as a passing tone, not a suspension, but it's still the sus chord. That sound I just love. I also love the little bits of chromaticism. The way these lines here. Do, 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 oops, I gotta turn my keyboard on. Da, 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 right, these little bits of chromaticism within the harmonies I think are extremely effective. Of course, everyone commented in the comments on the piece about the pizzicato use and how effective that is, and yeah, that's a really nice thing. I also really like the textural changes in the rhythm, the way it goes from being essentially eighth note driven with a few sixteenths to then being 16th and 16th note triplets based, and then comes back to another texture. And these little textural changes that happen, and they happen in logical ways that help give structure to the piece. All of these things, I think, are extremely effective and really well done. So those are the things that that I especially enjoyed about this. So anything else you want to add about this? Are you with us, Luke? Did we lose you? So now I don't hear you. Isn't that strange? All right, so I'm no longer hearing you, but I also see a still picture, so that could also be part of it. But let me come back here a second and just make sure. Huh, are you speaking yet? All right, so we're going to move on then, and but thank you so much, and great job on the piece. Let's hear some more music, shall we? So I'm if so the next one that I was going to talk about, and again, it just doesn't want to bring up the screen with the slides for some reason, and I don't understand why. Oh, because this one is full screen. Huh. Look at that. Ah, now we go. Okay. So, Stephen Pierce, don't know, I don't remember you being here earlier, but I'm going to take another look to see if Stephen Pierce is here now. Oh, you are here now, so I am going to invite you to co-host. And here we go. So, there we go. So, Stephen, are you with us? Stephen? All right, so I'm going to bring up your piece while you get maybe sound happening here if necessary. And meanwhile, I'm going to bring up your piece, and we're going to listen to your original version of it, unless
Can you
you...
play
Yes,
mine? Talk about it.
I hear whoever just spoke.
That's Steve.
Yes, Steve. Great.
Hello there. Good evening.
Hi. Congratulations, your piece is great. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So, as far as when we get ready to play this thing, would you rather hear your original audio or the MuseScore version? Because I know you probably tweaked some stuff in the original, and I'm guessing maybe that's probably the more representative version. But I'll leave that up to you.
I would think the Muse score is actually clearer with what I did.
All right. In that case, that's what we will. That is what we will do then.
And it'll be easier for people to follow.
Okay. Well, then we'll do that. So, before I start on this, your first attempt at writing a score. So, tell us about that. What do you mean by this? You've composed music before, but never written it down. Is this what you're saying?
I've done many years of writing music and arranging music, but I've never used MuseScore successfully before.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I saw this competition on the Saturday before the final date,
Wow.
I heard the music straight away in my head as soon as I heard the chords. Got the melody written down, and then spent 2 days scoring it out.
All right. So let's go ahead and hear this here. And then, in the interest of time, sorry about that, Steve, we're going to just hear the final measures.
Absolutely.
So, yes, another really, really nice interpretation here. And some of the things that I really like here, this also has a contrapuntal feel between the two instruments. There's a clear, this is the melody, this is the accompaniment, but they are almost equally important in certain places. And also, I also like the textural things going on of these little staccato chords in the piano. Right? And other places where the staccato texture comes in and gives us a little change of pace from what's happening. One of the other things that I think is especially strong about yours here is the extent to which this original melody, which is, right, it's just an arpeggio, but arpeggios are melodies, and you use that device, I think, effectively throughout as sort of an organizing thing. So it feels very well connected in that way. That's something that very much appealed to me about this piece. So any other comments that you would want to make about any of this, Steve?
Well, thank you for your comments. And I must say thank you to everybody that's given me hints and tips along the way. I really didn't know I was going to be talking, so I'm a bit anxious about this.
Oh, well, you don't have to be if you don't want to be. It's optional, well, completely optional.
I'll just say that the chord structure spoke for itself. I didn't have time to consider anything else. I had wanted to introduce a few different rhythms with different time signatures in there, but I didn't have enough time to play with that.
Gotcha.
But the cello part was almost, I heard it in my head straight away, but it was almost a reflection, not a reflection. I can't remember the right word, but the violin plays that melody and the cello is copying almost all the way through.
Yeah, it's imitative counterpoint.
And to be honest, all I did was shift. I don't know if you can see me because I'm.
Oh, you're. I'm not looking at you. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm not looking at the right screen there. But you're also not on camera apparently. So
probably wise not to see me. But anyway, I what I did is you can probably see from the first couple of bars there is that I just shifted the cello. Sorry, the violin music along 2 beats for the cello to repeat, and just modified the individual notes to match the chords.
Yes, and that is just a totally great approach. So when you're doing imitative counterpoint, you copy and paste and say, okay, here's the cello's going to have this thing 2 beats later. Ooh, but this note doesn't fit the chord, so I'm going to move it up a half step or down a step or whatever. And
Yes.
and then you end up with, I don't read alto clef very well, but I can certainly tell that's an arpeggio. And then I see that is an accidental, and it's probably an E sharp. So originally it came down, and this time it's going up. Right, so it's slightly different coming down here than it was on the other version, but it's it's largely the same melody, very very much recognizably the same melody.
And you can see that in the second bar and the third bar and so on.
Yeah, totally. So some really, really nice stuff, and I'm glad that you're learning about using MuseScore and getting your feet wet in with that as well. So so I really just love the whole textural approach here and the way using the 2 horns with the piano accompaniment. I just thought it worked really well, and just having that motif, just using that ascending arpeggio as a motif throughout, really helped tie the piece together. So great job.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. We're going to move on now. And so people who as I'm talking about your piece, feel free to be joining, and also feel free to stick around and give comments on other people's pieces if you want. But we're just going to keep going here, and so I'm going to flip back to my winners list, and I want to talk, Graham, if you are still present. I know I had thrown the invitation on to you. I don't know if you've actually joined us yet or not. So Graham Archer, let's see. Invite to co-host. There we go. I've got to kick some. Oh my gosh, look at that. So what I'm going to have to do is I actually do have to uninvite some people. So sorry about that. I am going to say goodbye to, no, you're already. So I need to figure out who my co-hosts are. Okay, so Steve, I'm going to say, Graham just joined. Great. So Steve, thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay. So, and I will also invite Humbly Music because we're going to be looking at you momentarily as well. So, Graham, you're with us now?
Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Your voice has become very distorted.
Has it? Has it for anyone else, or it could just be, I don't know. Other people can let me know.
No, that's it. You fixed it.
Okay. I don't know that I did anything, but it could just have been some, random temporary glitch, because that happens. Sound is glitchy, comes in and out, Dean is saying. So yeah, I think there must be just something going on that who knows where it is. But the show must go on, so we're going to go on. All right. So Graham, yeah, really nice job on this piece. It's just a really well done chorale. So this is a style that you've been exploring for a while, right? This isn't like your first time trying to write a 4-voice chorale like this, correct?
No. I write primarily for our choir.
Yes.
So I'm quite used to SATB, style of music. And as soon as I saw the chord progression, like Stephen, I thought immediately Bach-type chorale. Mm-hmm. And once I decided that, it was fairly easy because the chord progression is there. It was just a question of arranging the notes in the best possible way to make it sound as good as possible. And I didn't expect to win anything because it's just an imitation of a Bach chorale. Yeah, some of the other contributions are much more original.
Well, like I said, there's value in pure originality, and there's value in just really well done craftsmanship. And yeah, this is just great craftsmanship here.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Yes, and it is absolutely worth rewards, and especially so even before I start, just the little touches, like just this 2-bar phrase with the fermata. There, I mean, that's Bach, right? That is Bach chorale,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So this is hitting a lot of details. The way you phrased it here, the way you phrase the melody to come to these conclusions at these places, just it absolutely feels just spot on. So yeah, let's go ahead and hear this now. Also, okay, so yeah, just really nice. I especially also like the little bits of rhythmic variety are in there. The way the 16th notes. I mean, okay, if we're gonna say, does it sound exactly like a Bach chorale? No, Bach wouldn't have had those 16th notes there. He wouldn't have had those triplets. But we don't need to be Bach. We need to be interesting, right? And so I just that's that's your own touch, and I think that's really effective.
Okay, thank you.
So also some of the other things, I mean, I mentioned the chromaticism, the little bits of chromaticism in one of the other ones in Luke's version. And of course, I've already forgotten how he pronounced that. But just, the chord progression itself has chromaticism built into it, right? It's got chords that have notes not in the key, and the way you've incorporated that into the line. So look at this little line here in the alto part here. I mean, that's like the perfect alto part for that line. I mean, that's just one of a million examples that I could point to in here. Places where you found exactly the right pitches to tell the story of that chord. Yeah. Right? And then the descending line that's also happening in the bass. There's just really nice voice leading. This is a great study in voice leading. And yeah, I just think it's just super strong.
Thank you. I'm always try to be very hot on voice leading because I think it's so effective and worthwhile.
Yeah, and if you so do you sing in a choir as well?
Yes, I sing tenor.
So, yes, singing in a choir gives you an appreciation for the value of good voice leading, because bad voice leading is hard to sing, right?
Yes.
And so when you see and hear good voice leading, it really makes a difference in the actual singability of it, as well as how it actually ends up sounding.
Yes.
So yes, so again, fantastic job. And any final comments before we move on?
No, I don't think there's anything more to add.
All right. So, by the way, I will be in touch with all of you about prizes and so forth. But again, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, sound is gone? What? Screen went black, sound is gone. Okay. It's going to be one of those days, right?
Sound and screen's okay here.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Is it only Joanne having a problem then? Are other people having a problem? Do we need to find this out sooner rather than later? Come on. I can't get back to that window, and that's never a good sign. Here we go. Are others having trouble?
No, I have no trouble.
Yeah. So hopefully the recording is going to be okay, and if others are having trouble, okay, no trouble from Bernhard either. So great. Okay. Well, so Beautiful. So we're just gonna. So Joanne, sorry it's not working for you, but hopefully whatever's going on will be okay on the recording. Okay, so Humble to Music, you're unable to talk, so that's fine. Feel free to participate via the chat. So what I'm going to do is bring up your piece now because you're next on my list, right? Humble to Music, yes. So we're going to listen to your piece and talk through some stuff. And again, just fantastic job on so many aspects of this. And yeah, it's hard on yours to sort out how much of what I liked was your performance versus how much of what I liked was the melody itself. So I'm actually going to bring up a couple different, because you also had your kind of fixed up version of it with the rhythms kind of sorted out a little bit better. Except now I'm looking at the wrong version. Oh, here we go. There's the I don't know if there's yet another version too. Let me just see. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this fixed up version of it and just also have that available for comparison. So when I say fixed up version, the melody here, that is clearly beat one. I say clearly, it's clearly to me. Pick up to beat one, dum, ba-da-dum, and that's also a beat one. I feel where the beat one is. And then the original version of it had that happening, but then later on in the piece where the same thing happens, it's offset by a beat because the rhythm has changed at different places. So the correction for that happened here is he added some 6/4 bar to kind of fiddle things up to get it to all match. But we're going to listen to the original version of it because that's the version with the really nice recording. So let me just bring up the chat, make sure that that all is well. So it looks like it's mostly just Joanne that's having trouble every once in a while. Some people also had some slight glitches, but as far as I know, things are good, so I'm going to hit play. And I'm going to turn Yeah, that is just an utterly gorgeous piece of music there. I mean, the melody you created is just really compelling. I mean, I mean, I feel like that's like it as opposed to feeling like, oh, it's a melody that fits the chords well and completed the assignment. I feel like it really goes above and beyond in really being a compelling melody. And again, as is the case with so many of the ones that we ended up choosing, it's got this thematic unity to it. Yes, this is a Humble New Music's version now. And yeah, sorry you missed so much of it, Joanne, but it's being recorded, so you should be able to watch it later. So the use of that, it keeps coming back, right? And then at letter A, and then at letter B. Oops. So letter B is a variation on it, right? But then at letter A again here, this is the new, these aren't letter A's like rehearsal letters, that's more marking the form. So he's bringing back that same bit of melody. Now, in order to do that, he needed to alter the chord progression some, right? He copied and pasted some within that chord progression, and he actually did post the chord progression as was used here. So he's showing what he used and what he kind of omitted and how he, used these chords, he used those chords, and then built up a new piece from it. So several people commented about the apparent randomness of the chord progression. And the thing is, it's not random. It originally, the first 4 bars and the second 4 bars, they have different chords, but originally it probably had the same chords. It's the same, the original melody was the same melody twice in a row. When I posted that the other day, same melody for the first 4 and the second 4. Abraham just chose to harmonize it differently. The trick is then to figure out a new melody. If you want it to make sense, then you would write a melody that somehow fits both of those chord progressions, and that's hard because Handel probably wrote the only one that did fit both of those chord progressions. So what Humble New Music did was say, no, I'm just going to use that first 4. Every time I want to reuse that melody, I'm going to reuse those chords with maybe some other minor modifications. And I just think that sort of choice is what really made this piece work so well, because that is honoring, I think, the spirit of this, keeping with the chord progression as given, but using it as a source of a bit of a collage to build your own thing from it. So just great job with that. And again, the performance really, really nice as well. I don't know if you actually re-uploaded the audio to be a little louder, but it seems like maybe it was a little louder this time, or maybe it's just my imagination. But yeah, this is just super strong, and there's certain little things like this little passage here. And then that passage to me is really, really, it's a fabulous passage. I don't think I'd have to go through and figure it out with the chords. And I would recommend that if you do these lead sheet kind of things again, just include the chords right there, because then I don't have to like copy and paste between 2 different ones with my eyes. But if I could actually see what the chords were as right there on the melody, people would want that if they wanted to play it, right? If you want someone else to play from this lead sheet, and I'd be thrilled to play from this lead sheet if it had the chords there. So maybe think about adding it there. But do it on the version where the rhythms are fixed up also. But yeah, so I feel like you must have modified the chords there to make them suit your purpose. So you could have that and then that little bit of sequencing there that happened that wasn't necessarily supported by the chords that you were working from, or maybe you had to pull chords from different sources to get that to work. But yeah, that is the kind of conscious choice that we really want to be making about how I don't know how to take these chords and really build something great with it. So fantastic job. Highly approved. Okay, so thanks again, and sorry that you weren't really able to join us, on camera or anything. But we're going to move on next to our grand prize winners. So I know Trevor isn't able to be here, although I don't know if he was going to try to sneak away from whatever else he had to do to join us. But Bernhard, if you are present, would love to get you on board. So let me make sure that I've extended you the invitation. Where's... Oh, all right, is that you?
I'm already on board.
All right, great. So fantastic. So this very much in the same spirit as Graham's. Your piece is oh, that's why I can't find the thing. It's being very true to a chorale style thing and just exceedingly well executed. We just both Abraham and I were really drawn to how well executed it was and all the little touches that went on there. So while I bring this thing up, what else might you want to tell us about this?
Yeah. I began writing the bass line, and I wanted to stay with the whole piece and the chords. And yeah, I took several beginnings to get a melody, and one day it works. So
Okay.
I was very glad. I find some sequences and some climax, and yeah.
Yeah, the use of sequences is absolutely the noteworthy feature of this. You really found some amazing opportunities to build sequence. I mean, several of the ones that we've looked at had little hints of that. But as we play this, people will see what I mean. But just places where you have this figure like coming up in this measure, right? These places where you take this motif and develop it for a while, and really built to a climax with it, and it's just extremely effective.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. We'll talk for a couple more moments, but let's hear this piece here. Oh, I'll tell you, one of the other things I mentioned earlier on in the very first one in Look's piece. Actually, I've forgotten. Never mind. Let me hear. Yeah. So again, this is just really extremely well executed. It's got a strong melody that carries it through, thematic development of those melodies, and nice voice leading in the inner voices and so forth. It's not as like strictly chorale style as Graham's was. It's more a procession of chords with a single melody on top of it, which is a slightly different version of what a chorale might be, but also just extremely well done. This last section here, where you mark the reprise there, that's because the chord progression actually ended here, but you felt like you wanted some more measures.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The last bar with the D sharp diminished 7 is a bit too short for my
Yeah.
opinion to get a good final.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when I mentioned earlier that this chord is one, that sort of type of chord is a sound that Bach really liked, he wouldn't have liked it for only one beat. He would have stretched that chord for a final coda on the piece. And so, yeah, there's something about this chord progression as given that wasn't perhaps as final sounding as it might have wanted to be. And so by creating your own ending on it, I think you address that really nicely.
Yeah, yeah. I made a version for string quartet
Yes.
with
And
the same.
and
Yes,
this is the exact same arrangement, but just rescored for strings, right?
yeah, yeah, and it was amazing because it sounded like a new piece for me.
Yeah. So we're
Ju-
going to actually go ahead and do that because why not, right? And Abraham actually mentioned he specifically really liked the string quartet version. And so we're going to hear that one right now. And it's the same notes. Same
Yeah,
notes. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I think one reason why it works so well for strings in particular is that approach that I mentioned isn't quite chorale. I mean, when I say chorale style, I mean, yes, it's four voices either way, four voices SATB, but there's a pretty clear distinction between three voices moving in quarter notes like this, right? Versus with the melody going, right? So the melody has a different rhythm, and that texture doesn't come across as powerfully when it's all the same instrument. This version string version where it's one instrument playing the melody and then three other instruments playing the accompaniment, then that separation is that much more clear. In fact, it would probably be especially even more so if you change that violin one to a flute, say, so it's a totally different, like it's a flute melody with string accompaniment. It could be even, it could bring it to another level, perhaps. I don't know. Did you ever try anything like that by any chance?
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
Neither have I, but it's it could be an interesting to try. But string quartet is obviously a really powerful and common instrumentation, and this type of thing where you have this series of chords, there's a number of kind of early Baroque styles that are based on that idea of a ground of a series of moving chords with a line moving on top of it. Handel worked in that genre a lot. Bach worked in that genre a lot, and so it really feels like that. And it also feels, when I mentioned Handel working in that genre, I think that's part of what appealed to both Abraham and I about it, the sense in which this actually felt like the type of thing Handel would have written.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really like this a lot, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I'm honored.
Any final words about this your piece here?
Uh, what was the question?
Any final words you'd like to say before I move on?
No, just I'm very glad to be honored.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, and
Can't believe it.
yeah, it was just really nice music, and we just really enjoyed it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Trevor, I'm assuming, is still not here, and that's too bad, but we'll see if we can get him on next week when we also can bring on Abraham. So I am going to play his piece. It's a longer one, and we know that. We've heard it, but it's so good. We're going to hear that to kind of close out the proceedings here. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to everyone who participated and produced such great music. But yeah, we'll try to get next week some more from Trevor and some words from Abraham also. But let's conclude here by listening to Trevor's award-winning composition. Hello. Here we go. Trevor. And I'll go ahead and hit the play on this. So y'all know this goes through some different tempos, but also dynamics and all. So Rod, if you trying to get to sleep, just tune off before the loud parts, right? The soft parts work really great for you there. Yeah. Just fabulous job, Trevor. So congratulations on just creating a fantastic piece. And yeah, just to wrap up on some of the comments there. Humble Music, I did see your comments saying that those were the original chords, and I assume you were talking about that descending passage there. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go match that up and figure out what's going on. But I would totally encourage you to put together a version where I can see the melody and the chords at the same time in a good rhythm. That would be awesome to see. So the chords that you all were working from were not Handel's chords. They were Abraham's chords based on Handel's melody. If you reread the original description, I did say that they're Abraham's chords based on a Handel melody. But I also think they're not too far off from what Handel's chords were. In other words, he'd probably borrowed an awful lot of Handel's original to make it all work. And so I did post just yesterday, I posted the original melody so you can see that. And if anyone recognizes it and can tell me where in Handel we can find it, that would be awesome, because then we would really be able to talk about what the original chords were. So thanks everyone for being here. Thanks everyone for participating. Y'all did just fabulous work. Oh yeah, Kika also, I should have mentioned yours also as an honorable mention for just an amazingly creative interpretation of what was given. It was just really creative. So I applaud you as well. So thanks everyone, and I'm just going to go out on that. We don't need to hear my theme music here because we just heard Trevor's piece, and that's what this piece is all about. Your music here. So thanks everyone, and next time hopefully Trevor will be able to join us, and I'm pretty sure Abraham will. We'll kind of wrap all this up and then talk about what's coming up next. So thanks everyone for hanging with us, and I will see you next time.